All right guys, today I'm going to be showing you guys 4 finishes that you're going to be able to get from the mount once you've gotten your cross face in and you've cleared one of the arms. All right, so we're going to get started. All right, so my opponent's doing a good job of keeping his elbows in nice and tight. So I'm going to drop my chest to his chest and I'm going to start feeding my hand behind his head. When I do that, I'm going to get a grip on his shoulder here, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my hip on the opposite side so I can clear the point of his elbow. So I'm looking to drop my hip, clear the point of his elbow, and all I need to do is just feed my hand in behind it and get it to the floor. I'm going to come back to center here, and now I'm going to start walking my hand up the mat, all right? The first finish that I'm going to be looking for is my Americana. All right, once I've gotten his elbow flared, I'm looking to get my chin behind his wrist, all right? And I'm going to use my face to start to peel that thing out, and I'm going to feed my head in, all right? And I'm going to use my head to separate the hand from the body. Once I've got it separated, I'm going to circle my hand around. I'm going to grab my Americana. I'm going to drop my hip again on the opposite side so I do not get rolled. I'm going to finish my Americana right there, all right? A lot of times when I go to clear this arm, he's either going to do one of two things. He's going to grab my gi and not let me clear that arm out of there when I'm holding him nice and tight, or maybe he's just keeping his hand in there flat and he's not letting me get my chin in. That's okay. I'm going to just go ahead and wrist lock him from here. So his hand is stuck in, so I'm just going to trap it with my chin. When I trap it with my chin, I'm going to pass this hand over. I'm looking for the elbow. Once I lick the elbow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the elbow and I'm going to drive my chest forward into the wrist, okay? Chest forward into the wrist. Don't try to pull his arm into your chest. You might be able to get it, but it's a lot easier to put the chest into the wrist, all right? I want to keep that elbow nice and flared, all right? That's 2 finishes right there. All right guys, way number 3 that you're gonna be able to finish your opponent when you're in that lower mount position and you get your head and your arm control here, all right? So the first thing I wanna do is get my head and arm control, drop my chest down, put my hand behind the head. I'm gonna drop my hip to the side, find the point of that elbow, drive my hand to the ground, right? And I'm gonna start walking my hand up, exposing his elbow. All right, so this one we're gonna be doing a head and arm choke, right? So as I walk his hand up, I feel his hand pass from my shoulder to about his face level. As soon as I feel that, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dive my hand from this side of his head to that side of his head, all right? But that lifted up me to the top of the elbow. So now I need to take my chin and I need to slide it down behind his elbow, and I'm gonna turn my chin in so I can use my chin as the controller, all right? I like to lock up my bicep here, all right, so I start to make this super tight, and I'm gonna slide backwards. So I'm gonna slide my hips back and I'm gonna drop my shoulder in, okay? So this makes it nice and tight. As I drop my shoulder in, I'm gonna start going ear to ear with him, okay? So I'm gonna slide my ear down, and I'm gonna drop my shoulder, and I'm gonna slide forward and get my head and arm choke nice and tight. All right, option number 2, right? I'm doing the exact same thing. We're here, I've cleared that arm out, right? I've passed that arm over, I'm trapping with my chin, and I'm going chin, pull his arm down, drop the chest, I'm going gable grip right here, right behind the head. I'm still going ear to ear, right? And then I'm just gonna go ahead and squeeze forward and get my finish, all right? I'm gonna give you option number 3. I got a super strong guy here. Even though I've achieved all of this position here, right? I've got my gable grip, I've squeezed, I've grabbed my bicep, I've squeezed, and he's still not finishing, okay? So from here, I'm just gonna take my foot, it's on the back right side, I'm gonna pass that thing back over into the knee on belly position, a controlling position. I'm gonna slide it out in here into a baseball slide position, and then from here, I'm just gonna give him a squeeze, driving that ear into the ear, and that's way number 3 to finish your opponent. All right guys, the 4th way you're going to be able to finish your opponent once you achieve a crossface and you separate his arm from his body is a straight arm lock, okay? So I'm going to start the exact same way. I'm going to drop my chest onto his arms. I'm going to put my hand behind his head, and I'm going to cup his shoulder right here, all right? So I need to clear the point of his elbow, so I need to drop my hip to the other side, clear the point of his elbow, put my hand to the floor, and start separating that arm. Pulling my knees back in, I'm walking my hand up the mat. All right, now I'm gonna go for my head and arm choke. But when I do go for my head and arm choke, he's gonna pull his arm out and straighten it out completely. So he's gonna do that right there. That's gonna make it very difficult for me to finish my head and arm choke as he finishes and keeps his arm straight up there. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trap his arm with my head. I'm gonna pass this hand over, and I'm gonna get wrist control here, all right? I'm gonna drive forward on him. I'm not gonna try to finish it right here. I'm gonna drive forward into my hips, locking my hips and my knees in around his hips to keep him from moving. My elbow's behind his elbow, and I'm just gonna keep my head down, and I'm just gonna squeeze and push his wrist towards the ground, finishing the straight arm lock, all right? That gives you 4 submissions when you're in a lower mount position. You guys give that a try. Let us know what you think.